Okay. This is one of my very favorite parts about the Time Magic Planner is all of these magic touches. If you flipped through your planner, you will have noticed all of these different graphics throughout, and they're there to help remind you of some of the concepts that we're learning. So I wanted to just take a few minutes, walk you through each of these was so you have a better idea as you're working through your planner for the first time. You're able to really get the most and decide which of these tools is going to be helpful for you. And as always, keep the ones that you feel like resonate and are going to work. Ditch the ones that don't. The idea is not to overwhelm. It truly is to just offer you tools and tips and advice and tactics and all of the things that you could use to add to your personalized toolbox when it comes to planning your weeks, planning your life, and managing your time. So you'll see the life wheel at the beginning of each month. This goes along with a meditation that you can also find on the website jillwright.ca/planner-resources. The idea is to sink into an intentional state once a month as you're gearing up for the coming month and really ask yourself how you feel about the different areas of your life, right? How are you compared to how you'd like to be? And that can really show us the different categories or areas of our life where we might want to put some more intention, love, and focus in the upcoming month ahead. So it's really an assessment tool that we offer at the beginning of each month. Based on that, you'll move on to the monthly theme. Depending on where you want to put some focus this month, you can create a word, an intention, a theme that you can carry with you throughout the month. We encourage you to write it down in that space where you see monthly theme, right beside the life wheel each month, so that it's something you can anchor back to and just continue to come back to check in and revisit what is important to you to focus on for the month. Brain dump. The brain dump area you will see in each weekly planning spread. This is not a to-do list. This is simply a space when you start your weekly planning, sit down, get all of the things out of your head. This is to decrease the mental load. It is a space that you can add to throughout the week that you could leave blank if you want. But the idea here is just all of the things that are scattered around in your head, the to-dos, the have to remembers, the one-off things, they can get dumped out of your head and safely live in one place on paper so you don't forget about anything, you don't lose it, but you don't have to be constantly thinking about it and shuffling things around in your mind. Moving down to frogs. The frogs are a really fun piece within the weekly planning framework. So there's a concept called Eat Your Frog. Brian Tracy is a productivity consultant who wrote a whole book called Eat That Frog on this idea. There's an old fable that says if the first thing you do every day is to eat a live frog, then nothing worse will happen to you for the rest of the day. And I think we can all agree that's pretty true. And what Brian Tracy did was he took this idea of this story and he identified the frog as the thing you're procrastinating on, the thing that you most don't want to do, right? And in his view, if you eat that frog or do that thing first thing in the morning, first thing in the week, then you free up all of this mental space, all of this energy that you would have spent procrastinating and worrying about. And instead, you can move on to the other things. You get the most important, most dreaded chores done first, and it creates mental space. And so I love identifying at the beginning of the week 3 major to-dos that are either the most important things or the things that you've been procrastinating on and that you really need to accomplish. Literally put them in your calendar in a specific spot on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If you don't get them done and you need to shuffle, at least you've left some extra space at the end of the week. You can move them without feeling guilty that your week has gone sideways because let's face it, things pop up and we have to change things around all the time. But there's still space for you to eat that frog. And if you do get them done on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then you have Thursday, Friday with a little bit of extra wiggle room, a little bit of extra white space. You can either refer back to your brain dump, do a couple of extra things, or you could simply take that space to relax and enjoy and create some spaciousness in your day, knowing that the most important things got done earlier in the week. Also, in the weekly spread, we encourage you to do a word of the week. This is very similar to your monthly theme. It's an intention on how you want your week to feel, right? How are you going to show up this week? What do you want to bring in? What is the intention of how you want to feel this week. You can also use that to determine what your frogs are. If you want to kind of go topsy-turvy, front and back, mix it up in the order of how you do this. Time confetti is the idea coined by Bridget Schulte, who is an author, speaker, TED Talk. Anyways, the whole thing, got to check her out. She created this idea of time confetti, which names those 5 or 10 minute pockets throughout the day of what we would consider wasted time, right? We often will do scrolling or nothing during those times. We completely waste them. And I think that they can be very impactful in terms of how productive we can be. And we can use time confetti moments in various ways throughout the day. One way I like to do this that I offer in this planner is using them for self-care. So there's a section at the back of the book where you can create a time confetti list for self-care, things that you can do that only take 5 or 10 minutes that really refuel you. They calm your nervous system. They fill your cup, so to speak. They bring you joy. And this could be anything that's specific to you. Your list is going to look different from everybody else's, but my challenge to you is to get used to noticing time confetti when it pops up in your day and resist the urge to pick up your phone and instead just refer to your list and do something that is really going to benefit you. Next thing is the glimmers. These are the little things that happen throughout the week that make you smile, that bring you joy, that we normally will just pass by, move on to the next thing. But I encourage you to write them down in this space each week. The glimmers can be a kind word someone said to you, and somebody maybe let you go ahead of them in line in the coffee shop, or you got a really great client testimonial that came in, or you saw your kids doing something kind for someone. It can be anything. Whatever brings you joy, makes you smile, helps you feel just proud and happy. These are the things you want to get in the habit of recording. And then at the end of each month, what I personally like to do is flick through the 4 weeks and just journal on all of the glimmers. Create this really beautiful record of the month of all the wonderful things that happened, because otherwise they just get lost in the shuffle. It's really good dopamine hit too for those of you who have ADHD. If you are someone with a uterus who bleeds, you can track your menstrual cycle right here in this Time Magic Planner. Use those little teardrop shapes. I either shade it in when I'm bleeding or write the day number of the cycle right inside there. It helps me to keep track of where I'm at on my cycle so that I know what my energy level is going to be like, what my mood and my attitude is going to be like, if I should be around other people or if I should really just be by myself all day, locking myself up for the benefit of everybody else so I don't snap anyone's head off, right? When am I going to have more energy? When I'm going to have less energy? How am I going to feel? I factor all of those things in when I'm booking appointments. And so it's nice for me to be able to see it right there on the calendar. Same with the lunar cycle. If you're someone who pays attention to when we have a full moon or a new moon or any kind of waxing, waning, quarter moons or crescent moons, it really can impact collectively the energy of what's going on. And so I have another video and resource for you if you're curious to dive more into what it means when the moon is doing its thing. But I encourage you to get curious and just start to see like, oh, what is the moon doing right now? And maybe on your pattern tracker, which is the next thing, you can see if there's any correlation, right? We're going to be tracking your mood. We're going to be tracking your energy levels. And this is really helpful for you to get a sense of how you can best schedule your time based on the patterns you're noticing just about yourself, right? We're not necessarily trying to track a pattern of like, I drank water every day or I got my walk in. That's really great habit tracking to be doing. I didn't create a space specifically for that in this planner because I thought it would be very beneficial for us to start understanding our own natural patterns, paying attention to them. How is our energy doing? Do we have a full battery or is our battery drained, right? What's our mood like? Does it correspond at all with our period tracking, right? All these really cool patterns that you can learn about yourself that are going to help you dial in your weekly planning and your time management to make sure that you are setting yourself up for the best possible scenario each and every day. And lastly, I want to share with you this idea of intuitive self-care. We set aside a period of time, however much you can, ideally an hour. If you've only got 5 or 10 minutes, that's fine, but put it in your plan for the week, right there in black and white or whatever color you like to use, intuitive self-care time. And at the back of this planner, you're going to flip over and write down all of the things that you consider self-care for you. And pro tip is right next to them, say like bubble bath dash 30 minutes, right? So each thing you're going to list out and how long it takes. It has to feel restorative, nourishing for you to be self-care. And what you do is when you arrive to that self-care hour that you allocated for yourself in your week, you simply use your intuition. You ask yourself, what do I need right now? Right? Is it a sleep? Is it a walk? Is it some friendship? Is it some alone time? Do you need to move your body? Do you need to look at funny cat videos? It doesn't matter what it is, but the point is it will be different that day than the next day or the prior day, and depending on the time of day. Because if you commit to doing a certain type of self-care, but you're not in the right headspace for it, or whatever the case is, if there's some reason that that thing isn't feasible for you, you lose your self-care and it's gone. This way we check in, what do we really need? And we go with the thing that's actually going to fill us up and make us feel rested and restored. So that is what I have for you with the magic touches that are included with the Time Magic Planner. I'd be so curious to know which are new to you, which you've heard of before, and which we're maybe looking at in a slightly different light. So with that, I encourage you to go ahead, open up the planner, start with the life wheel this month, and get planning your weekly plan for next week.